around this training, and so I'm really excited to share it with you. So, without further ado, this is Financial Freedom Tips for Sustaining a Profitable Business. My name is Georgianne Lytle. This is a picture of my family. That's my husband Jack and 5 of our 6 kids. Our oldest one is an adult and out of the house, but our family is our why. You can maybe tell from our picture that we have had 4 of our children join our family through adoption. And so after our adoption about 5 years ago, I wanted to be able to stay at home with our kids. And so we were looking for a way to supplement our income. As I'm sure you know, supporting 6 kids is quite an expensive endeavor. So we started LuLaRoe about 2.5 years ago. We went into business, and my husband Jack started working full-time LuLaRoe at the beginning of this year. So that is a little bit about us. I have no finance background, no formal business training. I started this business probably like most other retailers. I sort of didn't have a clue what I was doing. And so we run very disciplined finances. Like I already mentioned, our kids are expensive. And so we were sort of passionate about running our business in the same way. And so I started just kind of looking around for different ways to manage our finances. I found this method that I'm about to share with you through just like a copied piece of paper that somebody gave me. I don't even remember who gave it to me, and unfortunately I don't even know who to credit for it, but it has proven to be really, really effective for us, and we have used this method since the day that we started our business, so I'm really excited to share it with you. I am green, you'll be able to tell that from this presentation, and gold. So you also probably will be able to tell that. As I mentioned, we are full-time LuLaRoe. My husband just came full-time with us January 1st, so we are still working out sort of work-family balance. That's been really interesting adjustment, but nonetheless, we're making it work. We've been in business about 2.5 years. We made our initial investment of about $12,000, and we were able to pay that back in about 3 months using this very simple method that I'm going to share with you in just a little bit. We still run a cash and debt-free business, meaning that we don't have any credit or credit cards. We pay for all inventory and expenses with the funds that we get on our retailer card, so that is exciting for us. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this spreadsheet method that I am going to show you more in depth in just a couple minutes here. So this method of tracking your finances is very easily customizable for your own business needs, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. This, however, is not an exact method of tracking expenses. It's rather a tool to help you understand and kind of see in black and white what you can allocate for expenses, inventory, and for your paycheck. Those are really important things, right? I have been really surprised to find out in the 2 times that I've done this training. The first time was on the cruise, and then the second time was at the Boston Lift training. I've been really surprised to hear how many retailers say that they have actually never paid themselves a paycheck. That was really surprising for me, and it was actually a challenge to be able to get this training into the hands of more retailers. So, I feel like if you are, we work really hard at this business. We put a lot of hours, we make sacrifices from our family, and if you're not paying yourself a paycheck, it can very quickly become difficult and you can get burnt out. So I feel like it's really important for you to be able to pay yourself a salary from what you do here, because you do make a lot of sacrifices. So now, another reason that I think that this method is really attractive is that you don't need anything extra to get started doing this. I know lots of us use, lots of different software platforms. We use Sunlet or La Collage for photos, or we use Loyal Shops for loyalty rewards and text messaging, and all of these things cost us extra money every month. I wanted to do something that didn't add more expense to that. So this is very easy. All you need is Google Sheets or Excel spreadsheet, and just a willingness to be diligent about tracking your finances every single day. So you don't need anything extra except your computer or phone, which you already have. So let's talk about the method that we are going to use to help you track your finances. So what I'm going to tell you about are default amounts that are already set on the spreadsheet that I will share with you. These are amounts that, number one, 50% back to inventory. That is just a default amount to show you how much you need to reinvest in your inventory once you sell things. If you are trying to upsize or downsize your inventory, you may want to adjust this. That's what's so great about this, is that you can easily customize this sheet based on the needs of your business. So you can also adjust the sheet to reflect how often you want to pay yourself. We pay ourselves once a month. Some people would like to pay themselves once a week or even bi-weekly. Some people even would like to pay themselves every day. So this sheet, it's really, really easy to adjust it. And I can help you build a custom sheet if you need to. So what we're going to talk about is just kind of standard across the board numbers that could easily be used for a generic financial situation, let's say. Okay, these are the default amounts that are on the spreadsheet. So the first column is going to be your inventory cost. That means what we're dealing with here is the payment that you get every day to your retailer Bless card. So you're going to put that amount in your spreadsheet, and 50% of that payment is going to go directly back to inventory. That means that's going to go back to purchase clothing, whether that be from the warehouse or other retailers by wholesale. The second 50% is going to get divided among a few things. The first thing is your expenses, and the default amount is set at 15% for that. So expenses are going to be non-inventory expenses. This will be things like shipping and shipping supplies, advertising, travel expenses, anything that's non-inventory costs will be allocated for in these expenses. The second amount is going to be the amount that you need to put away in savings for taxes. Now, I do want to say that I am not a tax professional. This is the amount that our CPA told us to withhold from our paycheck for our taxes. You definitely want to get with your CPA or tax professional and find out what is appropriate for your specific situation. But generally speaking, probably somewhere around 20% will be good for you. And then the remaining of that second 50% is going to go to your net paycheck. So that is going to be what you pay yourself at the end of whatever your prescribed pay period is. For us, like I said, it's 1 month. So the end result of what you pay yourself is going to be about 30% profit. So from, let's say 100% of your sales, the end result is going to be about 30% for you to pay yourself. Now that seems, people a little bit kind of recoil by that number. They think, oh, that's pretty low profit margin. But about 28 to 35% is a very, very healthy number for retail. So don't let that worry you. 30% is very normal. Okay, I know that's a lot of numbers to just talk about and not actually see on paper. So we are going to take a look at the spreadsheet so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about in black and white. Now there's good news though. This is definitely not as complicated as it sounds. You only need to do 2 things on your spreadsheet every day. Number 1 is input the amount that you get on a deposit on your Bless retailer card. And the second thing is you need to put in any inventory expenses that you have, which would be orders from the warehouse or wholesale purchases from other retailers. That is the only 2 things that you need to do. The spreadsheet does everything else for you. Okay? So we are going to take a look here at what the spreadsheet looks like, and I have mine, which I will share with you on Google Sheets. And the reason that I like to use Google Sheets is because I can access it from any device. So let's say I'm out shopping and, salad leggings restock, and suddenly I need to know if I have enough money to order salad leggings. So all I need to do is pull up Google Sheets on my phone and I can see right there. My husband can have it on his device. We can have it on our computer. It's easily accessible. So let's look at, I had put these amounts in here from earlier, but okay, so this column right here it says Bless, PayPal, and cash. So that is going to be the amount that you get to your retailer card. You also need to take into account cash here, but that's a separate issue. So I just want to keep it really simple for today. So let's say today, I used these columns already since today's the 15th. Let's say today we get a payment of $100. So you can see you put in, I'll show you how it works. You put in $100 here, and then the spreadsheet automatically breaks it up over these columns. So $50 will go back to inventory. $50 is the remainder, and then that's going to get broken up over these categories: expenses, taxes, and paycheck. Each day you need to go into this column and put in your payment. So we're just going to use a nice round number of $100 so that it's easy to see. And each day you'll go here and put your payment to your Bless card, and then let's use this 1,000. We sold a lot of things on this day. So if you go down here at the bottom, this column here keeps a running total of what you have available to spend for inventory. So we see here we placed 2 orders for $250 and $700, and this leaves us a balance of $450 for inventory. Now this column, the last one, that's your net deposit or paycheck. This section here will keep a running total of what you have available to pay yourself, whether that be at the end of the week or the end of the month, however you choose to pay yourself. This balance for inventory, you want to keep that as close to zero as possible. So that means if you have an overage in this column, a credit, a positive number, that means you probably need to order more inventory because your spreadsheet is telling you that you sold enough to be able to place another order. Sometimes we get in this thing where we look at our retailer card and we think, well, I have all this money. Let me just go ahead and order. But then suddenly you come to the end of your pay period and you don't have the money available to pay yourself your paycheck. This spreadsheet helps you see in black and white where your money should be going. And for me, that really helps me have a lot of discipline because I remember when I was a kid, it was like a thing to get your first checking account. I know I'm really dating myself. It was a thing to get your first checking account, and my mom always used to tell me, now just because you have checks left in your checkbook doesn't mean that you have money in your account. And I always remember that when I'm thinking about this spreadsheet, because it doesn't mean just because I have money on my retailer card that I can use all that money to order. So this just helps me see in black and white what money should be going to inventory and then what money should be going to paycheck. Now, at the end of the month, if you have a negative number here, it has to come from somewhere, right? Where do you think it's going to come from? It's going to come from your paycheck. So seeing that worked out on the spreadsheet helps you think, oh man, if I don't have money to pay myself at the end of this month, I am not going to be able to pay my car payment, or I'm not going to be able to send my daughter to those dance lessons that she really loves. So I feel like this is really important and a valuable tool for you to help be disciplined with your finances and for you to take control over your money. So let's go back here to our presentation and we will finish up. All right, I already mentioned you only need to do those 2 things. You need to put your payment on your spreadsheet each day, and you need to account for any inventory expenses that you have. Okay, so that's pretty easy on the spreadsheet. Now, just to reiterate how this will help you, the sheet will keep a running total of money that you have available to purchase inventory. In other words, if you look at your spreadsheet and your inventory column is in the negative, that means you shouldn't be ordering. Or if you look at your inventory column and you have money in the positive, that means that you probably need to replenish some inventory. And the sheet will also give you a running total of how much you should pay yourself. Super helpful to get a paycheck, right? Okay, let's just talk about a few common questions here. One of the most common questions that we get is, what if I overspend on inventory for a launch? This is a very common question that I get a lot. There's 2 ways that I typically deal with a launch when I'm looking at my finances. The first is that if I know that the launch is coming, let's say in a week or in a few days at least, then I know that I need to get that inventory column into the positive. So I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to order for, a set period of time leading up to it. so that when the launch happens, I have money available in that inventory column. Sometimes it happens where we have a restock and you don't have any notice and suddenly you need to order. So you have money available on your Blessed card, but there is no money in your inventory column. So when you put in your wholesale order, your inventory column goes into the negative. So like I mentioned already, if you get to the end of the month and that inventory column is in the negative, that means that comes out of your paycheck. So what you're going to need to do if you go into the negative in inventory is you have to plan to not order for a few days or a few weeks or whatever it is, typically not a few weeks, but if you have to make sure that you don't order again until you put in enough payments to get that inventory number into the positive again. So again, just seeing it in black and white helps you be very disciplined because you can look at that inventory spreadsheet or inventory column on the spreadsheet and say, okay, I'm, $200 in the negative on my inventory. That means that I have to put my next 2 payments in for the next 2 days so that I can get back into the positive without ordering. Okay? So what if I overspend on my allotment for expenses? Typically, what I recommend that people do is look at the big picture when you're thinking about expenses. We've all had a time where we've done, a big giveaway, or we spent a lot of money on a big vendor event. You have travel for a convention or something like that. So I recommend taking a big picture look at your expenses for 3 months. So you'll want to look at what you've put away for 3 months for expenses and then look at your actual expenses. So you can see that record from your Blessed card and you want to compare. So if you have 15% put away for expenses and you find that you're really far under that, then you can adjust your spreadsheet down to 10%. And that way you have a little bit extra money in your paycheck. On the flip side of that, if you have your expense set at 10% and you find that you're way overspending for 3 months, then you probably need to bump it up. But the good news is that's a really, really simple adjustment. You just have to make a quick adjustment to your formulas and it'll change your sheet. So it's a very easy fix. Okay, next question. What if I pay myself weekly instead of monthly? That is also a very easy fix. All that you need to do is put a entry into your paycheck column as a negative. So let's say you have $1,000 available to pay yourself and you want to pay yourself $1,000 for this week. Then you just put a negative entry into your paycheck column and it'll zero it out. And then when you have money there to pay yourself again, you want to make sure that you enter your paycheck there. Okay, I want to talk about debt and not taking a paycheck. There are two ways that I have thought of to deal with this. The first one is you want to take a look at what your actual personal expenses are and what you say, what do I need to take as a paycheck? So for example, let's say I need to pay myself $1,000 because I need to pay my mortgage or my car payment. So if you have $2,000 available to pay yourself for that month and you need $1,000 for your personal expenses, then you take that minimum amount for your personal expenses and then you can put the rest towards debt. The other option is if you don't, if you're not in a position where you need to use this for your personal expenses, then you can just take that whole paycheck amount and put it towards the debt. And obviously that will get you paid off much quicker. All right, we can't do Q&A because you're not with me. So, however, you can join our Facebook groups, Financial Freedom for Your LuLaRoe Business. There you will find a copy of the spreadsheet and some tutorials. You can feel free to ask questions there. People have discussions about what they're doing about finances and taxes and expenses and all sorts of geeky things. So it's super fun. You can also email me at steelandsass@gmail.com. That is the name of our boutique, Steel and Sass Boutique. So steelandsass@gmail.com. Or you can send me a personal message and friend me on Facebook, Georgianne Lytle. It looks like little, I know, but it's Lytle, Lytle. You can send me a personal message on Facebook. I will be happy to help you out. I really, really hope that you have found some value in this training. We are super excited about it. We have had really, really great feedback from the retailers that have sat through our training. We're really excited to give it to you in this format and just really hope you're blessed by it and you're able to have some empowerment and take control of your finances. So looking forward to hearing from all of you. And again, I hope this was helpful. Have a great day.